I am eating a Peeps. Don't know why I felt like streaming it to know it, but I'm eating a Peeps. If I like Peeps or not. After eating a Peep. Yes, I am trying to delay my fate with Okita, okay? It fast approached a month since I began living with the Shinsengumi, within the Shinsengumi headquarters. Hijikata-san and Sanan-san finally returned to the compound from the trip to Osaka, but spirits were low. Sanan-san's injury had unforeseen consequences for everyone in the organization. Day-to-day operations became hectic for a little while. His wounds seemed quite dire, and they drained whatever goodness in his nature he'd hoped to keep. Sanan-san would spend days holed up in his room, protected by a barrier of impenetrable silence. If he were to leave his room, a rare occasion now, he was often short-tempered and quickly retreated. Hijikata-san attempted to dismiss me, having said what he felt was appropriate as a stern commander. Well, we quietly returned to our room. Understood. Although I was able to finally see Hijikata-san, I didn't want to walk around and cause trouble. So just as Hijikata-san ordered, I decided to return to my room. June 1864. June 1864. The fourth year of the Bankyu era became the Ganji Gannen, and the summer sweetly blossomed. Spring shed its blossoming skin, giving birth to lush green trees facing the wide open sky. During one of these beautiful summer days, I finished cleaning after everyone ate breakfast, and Saito brought me to the hall to Hijikata.
副長、斉藤です。雪村を連れて参りました。
入る。
Saito responded by quietly opening the sliding doors, gesturing me to enter the room. Upon entering, I saw Hijikata-san, but also Okita, Nagakura, Harada, and Heisuke in the hall. It appeared that only the captains who were aware of my situation were present.
随分と長く待たせたな。お前を外に出してやる時が来た。
Really? I could barely contain the excitement in my voice as soon as the words came out of his mouth. So, is it true there was a man in Fushimi that matched my father's profile?
真偽は定かじゃねえが。本人かどうかは娘のお前に確かめてもらうのが一番だと思ってな。
I nodded in response. For now, any information pertaining to my father was appreciated, so I was thankful. So where's this man who supposedly looks like my father?
伏見にある寺田屋って宿だ。これから斎藤に確かめに行ってもらう。
Saito is a sign. I wasn't sure if that meant I was to accompany Saito or if I would have to wait longer for him. Then Harada chimed in.
だが、行動さんがまだそこに留まってるとは限らねえだろ。
ああ、伏見にいたってことは、今日の街中をうろついてる可能性もある。
その通りだ。だから原田と新八、それから平助の巡察にこいつを同行させて行動さんを探してもらってもいい。
俺たち全員で？いつもは手分けして順番に見回りしてるのに。
Hijikata-san didn't bother entertaining a response, instead looking towards me. Was he suggesting these were the men who were responsible for dealing with me should I attempt to flee? Heisuke must have sensed this as well, and he made no attempt to push the issue any further.
言いたいことは分かりましたけど、この子のおもりを僕たちに任せっぱなしってのは気に入らないな。今日は確か土方さんも外出する予定が入ってましたよね。今後のためにも可愛い故障を同行させていろいろ勉強させたらどうですか？
何を言ってやがる。 こいつが俺の故障っつうのはお前が勝手に言ってただけだろうが。
でも他の大使たちは完全にそう信じ込んでるみたいですよ。嘘から出た誠なんて言葉もありますし、相応の仕事をさせた方がいいんじゃないですか。
As Okita-san and Hijikata-san bickered at one another, the mood of the room was locked in their tense words until Harada whispered to me.
まあ、今の今日は物騒だし、無理に出かける必要はねえと思うぜ。俺たちも一応、コウさんの顔はわかるんだしな。
I could look for my father in Fushimi, or join the patrol rounds assuming he's moved places, or stay here to keep safe from the outside, or accompany Hijikata-san as his page. Damn. What should I do? Well, the guy says, unfortunately, we are staying behind in the headquarters. We know where this scene leads. Although my goal was to discover the whereabouts of my father, I wasn't completely sure that I was welcome to join the expedition, nor was safety assured. I appreciate your gesture, but I think I should stay behind today.
え、なんでだよ。コウドさんを探すせっかくの機会だろ。
True, but I have to understand my place here, and I'm not sure he's there. More chances will come.
まあ、お前がそう言うんならしょうがねえけど、遠慮なんてする必要ねえのにな。
Afterwards, the men deliberated before splitting off to their directives, and I returned to my room. Perhaps I should have gone. Maybe it would have been better for me to take the risk and learn something, anything. I felt like an icy dagger was pressed into my chest, piercing my thin flesh with a cold blade.
後悔してるの？だったら一緒に行けばよかったのに。
Okita. I'm not regretting it. I was so ashamed, so I couldn't bear to look into his eyes, but he smiled wearily before continuing while touching my chin.
へえ、後悔してないんだ。僕とはじめくんがわざわざ土方さんに掛け合って君の外出の許しをもらってあげたんだとしても。
What? His revelation nearly took the air from my lungs. That was the last thing I expected him to say. A little while ago, when they tested my swordsmanship, Saito-san did make that promise. That they'd advise Hijikata-san to join their rounds. Did I really just waste their kind efforts, throwing away their promise to get me out? I'm so sorry. You two worked so hard to convince him and I...
土方さんに掛け合ったのははじめくん。僕は後ろで軽くうなずいただけ。
Even so, I'm sorry. When I see Saito-san later, I need to apologize and give my thanks to him. I can't believe I didn't realize from the start. I feel like I let them down. As I was coming to terms with my decision, Okita stared down upon me blankly.
ただ、勘違いしないでよね。君の剣の腕前をはじめくんはああ言ったけど、あの程度の剣技は巡察じゃ何の役にも立たないから。君みたいな腕を道場剣術って言ってね、実戦じゃ何の役にも立たない奴のことを言うんだよ。
He was ruthless, but his criticism was spot on, so I was convinced he was right.
ついてくるのはいいけど、不用意にその小太刀を抜いたり、僕たちの前に出ようとしないでね。邪魔をしたり足を引っ張ったりしたら、君のこと本当に切っちゃうよ。
I understand. I nodded in a plaintive manner. Okita said nothing else as he turned his back to me to exit towards the inner court. Chapter 2 time! There's shit going on upstairs, as always. No news of my father came forth the other day, and somber restlessness took hold of me. Originally, it seemed Hijikata-san granted me approval to accompany the captains on their rounds through Kyoto to search for my dad. Then, he called me in. Excuse me. I saw Okita-san and Heisuke had been summoned along with me, and I felt a partial sense of relief. It did a little to calm my chattering nerves, and I didn't want to be in a bad spot with Hijikata-san. You called me? Hijikata-san seemed to be in a foul mood, so I decided it was best to act with tact in his presence.
お前の行動さん探しの件だがな。しばらく様子を見ようと思う。
Yo, hold up, I can't see shit. Hello! What? But why? We just started looking for him. Stopping now would surely cause any of our leads to run dry. His words stunned me. How could he back out on this? Hijikata-san remained deeply composed.
長州の連中が不穏な動きを見せている。本来ならお前を外に出せる時期じゃない。
I heard how the warriors of the Chosu domain associated with the Imperial Nationalist Party. For some reason, they find foreigners repulsive, using brute force to prevent any foreign presence. All of their faiths aligned with the Emperor. The Shinsengumi, on the other hand, serve the shogun, meaning they are directly opposed. If the Chosu is active, it could mean that my own goal is of little concern to the Shinsengumi. It might become something of a burden to them. So, are you asking me to refrain from joining the rounds until things with the Chosu domain settle? Hijikata-san nodded and turned towards the two men.
というわけで、今日からこいつを巡察に連れて行くのは取りやめだ。
なるほどね。だから当番の俺らが呼ばれたってわけか。
Heisuke seemed 2 steps behind Hijikata-san's words, until this very moment where it seemed to click.
でも今までだってこいつが巡察に迷惑をかけたこともないし、別にいいんじゃないかな。
そうそう、僕たちに何かあっても関わらないようにしてくれればそれでいいし、どさくさに紛れて逃げ出すこともないしね。
Shut it, Okita, please. I won't run. I knew he wasn't being serious, but I couldn't stand to keep my mouth shut. Thank you! I made up my mind the minute the men of the Shinsengumi agreed to help me find my father. I made a vow to never run from the Shinsengumi for as long as they helped me find my father. My desire to find my father showed no signs of slowing, even since I first arrived in Kyoto. Should that be even or ever? I think both work. I will keep my vow. So please, please allow me to continue looking for my father. I bowed to Okita-san, keeping my eyes locked with his. His smirk, however, shrunk slowly as he gazed towards me, caught in between words to say.
危険を承知でついてくるって言うなら、僕の一番組に同行してくれて構わないよ。それに、行動さんらしい人を見たっていう証言もあるしね。
確かにそういう証言もある。だが、危険だと分かってるところにミスミス出すこともねえだろう。分かってるのか、 お前らの足を引っ張りかねねえんだぞ。
I promise I won't cause any trouble. Please. If I lose the opportunity to search for my father, then the chances of finding him will sink. I lied straight. This sentence still makes no sense in my head. I need someone to read me this sentence to make it make sense in my head. And Hijikata simply sighed heavily.
市中を巡察する組長の指示には必ず従え。いいな。
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. I didn't know how else to show my gratitude, so I bowed deeply again.
行くか行かないかはお前が好きに判断しろ。
All right. I had to make sure this was the best decision. There was something in his demeanor that made me unsure of my desire to leave the compound. Still, if I was with Okita or Heisuke, I'm sure I'd be safe and well protected. On the other hand, my presence could be an undue burden to them. What was I to do? In this case, leave and search for my father. Huh? It feels like there are more people walking around than usual. The streets of Kyoto were packed with people shuffling into the shops and businesses all over.
土方さんの反対を押し切って巡察に同行してるんだってこと忘れないでね。
Sorry, I was distracted by all of the people. The city is filled with so much more cheer. I guess I just couldn't help myself. Okita's eyes twinkled and he smiled voraciously, and I could sense him relax. Voraciously? I don't know. I still want to say Velociraptor and have it make no sense.
まあ祇園祭りも近いしね。街が浮き立ってるのは僕も否定しないけど。でも上位派浪士たちの動きが怪しいのは本当だから。僕たちから離れて勝手に動くのだけはなしね。
We walked down Kyoto's largest street, alongside the First Division. No one came within a few yards of us. They stepped away the moment their eyes caught the bright blue of the Shinsengumi jackets. I noticed this phenomenon briefly when I first joined the Shinsengumi on their rounds, but it was clear the people of Kyoto feared them. Excuse me. I paused every so often to ask some of the less intimidated passerby if they'd seen my father. I'm looking for someone. He's in his 40s and speaks with an Edo accent. He's a doctor and he's a friendly bald man. After a few hours of searching, I met someone who claimed to see a man matching my description.
そんな雰囲気の人ならしばらく前にそこのマス屋さんで見かけたよ。
As he spoke, he pointed towards the stores selling wood and charcoal. Thank you so much! Okita-san caught my eye and gave me a stern look. He looked as if he was going to reprimand me when...
貴様ら浪人か。手取りなら判明を答えろ。
The cry came from a Shinsengumi soldier, and Okita-san turned, his lips tightening into a thin line.
ああ、よりにもよってこんなところで騒ぎを起こすなんてね。
His hand dropped to his sword as he ran toward the commotion. Townsfolk shrieked and ran like leaves before a gale. In the sudden press of fleeing citizens, I found myself pulled away from Okita. For a moment, I panicked, but realized that perhaps it was best. If I stayed close, he would have been forced to keep attention on me. I hoped to avoid distracting him. I hid in an alley to watch, and I could return to the First Division once the tension simmered.
坊ちゃん、そこの坊ちゃん。巻き込まれんよううちの店へ入りや。
Huh? I paused for a moment. A strange man was inviting me into his store. Not strange on the face of it, perhaps, but I was warned many times to be on my guard. I was about to politely refuse when I realized it was the store to which the man pointed earlier. Excuse me, but is this Masa's?
へえ、そうどす。
Great. You see, I'm looking for someone and...
キエモンさん、このガキ、さっきまで新選組の沖田と一緒にいたぜ。
Huh? I'm not of the Shinsengumi.
新選組だと逃げろ。
No, it's not like that. I was just looking for someone. Even if I had been walking with them, the reaction of the store's customers seemed excessive.
君って本当に運がないよね。ある意味こいつらも僕もだけど。
He gave a small, unconcerned shrug and leapt through the door of the shop. Masas exploded with a clang of blades, men swearing and scrambling across furniture. Wait, what is the meaning of this? What on earth just happened?